Obviously, welcome, and thank you all so much for coming. Truly, genuinely, from the bottom of my heart, appreciate all of you showing up for Girl Talk. This is a new talk. We haven't given this one before, so it'll be exciting to see how this goes. If you wouldn't mind advancing. Maybe. I probably have the slides memorized enough, worst case. Fantastic, okay. So first and foremost, hi, my name is Allison. I've met a lot of you in here already. Paradigm Shift alumni, former mentor of Ferrodermis, current mentor of Warrior Bots, electrical engineer at Milwaukee Tool. Helping me out today are two of our other fabulous team members. We have Miss Erica here in the front, and we have Miss Elena over there. You will be hearing from them throughout the presentation as well. So, let's get right into it. First and foremost, we're going to do like 60 seconds of meeting people. So what I want you to do just for a sec is introduce yourself to the people at your pod. What is your name? What is your team affiliation? And generally, what do you do on your team? And if you're new, that's cool. Just say that you're new. 60 seconds. Chatter. Oh.
Hi, I'm Marcus. I'm graffiti.
I'm Margaret. I'm Ronnie from Robotics, and I do also Ronnie from Robotics, and I do assembly and repair. I'm Natalie. I'm from Valcorn. I'm going to be fabrication link. Just about to chat on and then mentor and am going to continue to help. Sorry, there's a thing in our team where I'm trying to push this one. I only had a pancake. I just thought I would make it till lunch, but I learned. It's okay. I already had brownies.
How long have you guys been on the team?
This is my third year. This is my second.
Like this is like you've had 1 year, so you guys did just join that.
So, of course, like longer than most.
I was getting to the point where I was like, oh, I've been doing robotics almost as long as
a little sad, but
Welcome. Thank you for coming.
I'm doing the introduction I've done what you did. I did programming a couple of years. I did one
Yep, thank you. Good job.
preschool.
I don't even sit. Here you are. Oh, good night.
If you guys want to, somebody want to sit up here as well? I don't think there's chairs over here.
Our table's kind of
Sit on this side.
If I was a nice year in play, I would have stood like
I was saying, you can take a couple over here. One chair here. No, you can have the chair.
Oh, you can. You gotta wait. It's all good. You're on the same team, right? So we can take my chair.
Obviously, we know what team you guys are on. What do you guys think? What do you guys like?
We are Red Robotics.
Alright, we're gonna give this about 30 more seconds.
I mean, like your name, like personal.
I'm Lacey, and I'm in the manufacturing, so I'm the one like building a robot.
You make this up.
All right. So, worst case, if you get nothing else out of today, maybe you met someone new, and that's always wonderful, right? All right, so I'm going to talk for just a minute. just because we have a lot of new folks joining us, I'm going to reintroduce the premise of today really fast. I'm going to be talking for hopefully not very long. The point of today is to try and have a group discussion to kind of foster ideas about recruiting and engaging women in FIRST. And that's probably better if you all have better ideas than I do about that. I am more just your moderator for today. If you wouldn't mind advancing the slide. So, this is a chart that may be familiar to some of you. We're going to start talking about recruitment. So this is the number of women in STEM occupations in the United States as of 2020-ish. As you can see, especially if you look towards computer, mathematical stuff, and engineering, we're sitting at around maybe 20% on a good day, engineering sitting at about 16. Now, these numbers have been going up, especially over the last couple of decades. Offhand, I remember around 2013, we were sitting at about 13.9-ish% of women in engineering specifically. So it has been getting better, but obviously we're nowhere close to the general vibe of a 50-50 split that we would like to see in most careers, right? So the big question is, why is it like this? Why is there such a huge disparity in the number of folks in these careers? If you could advance the slide, please. So here are a couple of key factors that I have compiled from some research articles, just to kind of get the ideas flowing here. So the big one, probably the most obvious, is gender stereotypes, right? It is a general perception that STEM fields are masculine. On the flip side, for example, you could say that nursing fields have the perception that they are primarily female dominated, right? Especially when we have an education system that tends to perpetuate this a little bit, and I'll get into that in a second. STEM careers, because you have so many more guys than women in them, tend to have male-dominated cultures. Better known more as the bro culture that has been in a lot of movies and such. That also tends to perpetuate corporations and groups and teams as well, when you have such a giant divide in the diversity of people on your team. This is especially applicable as well to folks in minorities. Same kind of deal, we're just centering this around girls and women for the sake of today's conversation. Few role models. You don't have a lot of women in STEM careers. When you have folks younger, you don't have as many people to look up to, right? If you're growing up in small town Oklahoma and you see that one company has just been all guys, all your dads, all your uncles working there forever, that's not something that, as a woman, you might see like, oh yeah, I could go do that. You don't have anyone to look up to that you can see yourself in those environments, in those careers. And then this one we're going to come back to a little bit later, the confidence gap. So this is especially seen in math, especially in US education, that a lot of girls are losing confidence in their math capabilities by around the 3rd grade, whereas boys tend to say that they are strong in math right around there. Although all data points to that they're scoring about the same, but it's that perception that then grows and splits that once we get from these younger kids in 2nd and 3rd grade up to high school, you start to see this split in score performance. And that's just being perpetuated by just pure public perception, especially in education. So, the first question that we are going to have, and hopefully you've at least met some people, so this isn't horrendously awkward for us all to talk. We're just going to be chill and have a nice, wonderful conversation here. What are some strategies that your team has used to recruit girls in the past? What strategies have you used? What has worked, or what ideas do you have? I'm going to start off our conversation with one of our wonderful student moderators. Do you have one of these ideas that you could bring up to the group?
One of, I would say, the bigger things that we've done was going to female all-season events and getting girls right away interacting with the robot and like seeing what we get to do and just getting engaged then.
Awesome. Anyone else got ideas? I want to hear from you. Yeah.
I know we try to like make everyone just kind of like at the beginning of the season just like test out different sub teams. Just like even if you don't know anything, just test it out. You might as well just get an experience out of it. This is mostly for everyone, but like we want to try to like, even though there is multiple sub teams, just try them all out for first try and then see which ones you like. And we gotten more success through just letting them discover it out and like what things they like to do.
Absolutely. That's a fantastic example. Thank you so much for sharing. A lot of teams, when they start doing recruiting at the beginning of the year, do activities like that of just trying things. And especially like encouraging people to feel confident in trying stuff is so valuable when you're trying to get more folks into your team. That's a fantastic example. Does anyone else have something they'd like to share? Yeah, go ahead.
Our team's starting up a all-girls FTC team this year.
That's very
We're hoping to recruit a lot of middle school age girls to get them interested in STEM in a place where they can be together and, you know, work out what they need to and learn things that maybe they wouldn't have been confident enough to try in other groups.
That's fantastic. Providing safe spaces, especially like that, so valuable. I saw your hand up.
So last year, our team, inside of our team, we created a Women in STEM club, and they reached out to the Society of Women Engineers Society, and got in contact with a lot of like STEM teachers within our school and professionals outside, and just brought a lot of girls in who were interested in STEM, and then during those meetings, they would advocate for joining the robotics team, which helped increase our numbers slightly. We got a lot of seniors that were afraid to join robotics earlier or didn't know enough about it coming in from that club, which is very successful for us.
That's really cool. That's really cool. Anybody else? Anybody else? Oh boy, okay. I did not expect this many hands. Let's go with you.
Well, one thing we haven't started just yet, but we're planning it out, just having to work out all the details, is we're doing a girls in STEAM camp. So each day they'll learn different parts of STEAM and other extra things. Like for the first day we have safety and science, kind of like just a mix of everything that we can also relate it to robotics and kind of give them opportunities to try.
That's really cool. I think I saw a hand up.
Yeah.
Yes, you.
My team this summer, we started having more of a focus on recruiting girls since I'm actually the only girl on our team, which doesn't sound as bad as it is because there's only 9 people. It's fine, my team's pretty. So we actually started reaching out to the Girl Scouts to try and run like summer camps. So we took like Lego robots and had them learning about like what goes into making a robot, learning about some of the terminology, and eventually programming them. And we reached out to all the levels of Girl Scouts so that they all got a chance.
That's awesome. Fantastic. Yes.
That was actually what I was going to mention. We did a work day for all 3 of the surrounding Girl Scouts troops of their robotics related badges, and we did a work day like last fall to help them all work through that. And I hope they had
And like we start a lot of these things, sometimes it takes a little while to see like the benefits of it, especially when like you do feeder programs with like FLL, sometimes it takes a little bit to build up momentum. So like hearing all these wonderful ideas, truly y'all are rock stars. All right, I think I can take, go ahead.
So one thing that I've heard is there's a lot of formal ways of recruiting girls. I know there's a lot of informal ways too. So like, Elena, how did you join our team?
So I joined, and this is what I've noticed with a lot of the girls on our team, is that once you have a couple girls on the team, more will come. And like, when you have girls on the team, it shows that like, oh, you can do this, and then more people are willing to join.
Starting with one senior kind of peer pressuring other girls to
Strongly persuading. I mean, like so when I was on Pewaukee 10 years ago at this point, right? That's depressing to state. You know, I didn't really have any of my, girlfriends on the team, right? But I had one of my very dear friends who was on that team. He was a junior at the time, and he's kind of was on a team before me 2 years ahead every single time I joined a robotics team, which was super helpful. Just to have somebody that you know and you trust doing it with you just helps phenomenally for any type of team recruitment when you're trying to get anyone to join, right? It's so important. I think, does anyone have anything else to say really quick, or else I can keep moving here? Cool, fantastic. Okay, so we're gonna move on into my next little chunk here. So, we talked about the confidence gap a second ago. This is one of my favorite graphs. It goes by many different forms. Some of them say we're so back. But this is known as the Dunning-Kruger effect. And this is a graph that depicts building confidence in a new skill. So we are going to use woodworking as an example here, right? So let's say I am learning how to build stuff out of wood, and I decide I am going to build a stool for my mom because she needs one. I look at a million YouTube videos, get all the tools, and I make a wonderful wooden stool. My confidence is at a peak. Like, I made a thing, I made a project, my mom thinks it's awesome. Like, I am the best woodworker on planet Earth, right? I'm so cool. This is known as the peak of Mount Stupid. And the reason for that is, let's say now, okay, I've taken that first step into this skill. Like, I'm feeling good, I'm excited about it, I want to do something else. Let's say I want to build a desk now, right? A little more complicated, a little more involved. And as I start going down that rabbit hole and start trying to figure out how to actually put more than like 3 pieces of wood together, I start to free fall in my confidence level into the valley of despair. I know nothing, this was a horrible idea, I've wasted all this time and money, and I am just terrible at doing this skill, right? But you know, if you get to this point and you keep persevering, you keep looking for more resources, keep trying to improve, eventually you climb up the slope of enlightenment into the plateau of stability, and you actually start to master skills. Once you get through that initial hurdle of learning that you know nothing, and then you actually get up and over and you learn something, right? So why are we talking about this? Why am I bringing up this graph? This is something that is especially known in girls as imposter syndrome, which is its own separate conversation topic. I implore you, if this sounds at all interesting, look it up, because it is brought up in the corporate world all the time. It's fantastic. But generally speaking, girls tend to internalize mistakes and criticisms, whereas guys tend to look for reasons outside of themselves for why something isn't working. The example that one of my coworkers gave was she has 2 young kids, boy and a girl. They were trying out for the soccer team, and the little girl was making mistakes, and she's like, oh, I'm terrible at this, like, you know, I need to, you know, my skills aren't there, like, it's my fault, like, I need to get better. And she was describing her son as being like, oh, the grass is wet, and I need new shoes, and oh, it's the goalie was really good, you know. Externalizing failure, right? So this tends to go into, how do you build a good team environment that is encouraging of everyone, to make sure that you are making a welcoming environment where people feel comfortable getting out of the valley of despair when they are learning skills, so that they can become masters of different aspects of robotics. Can you advance slide, please? Thank you so much. So, what are some ways that we can do this? Well, sparking and nurturing interest in STEM at a young age. A lot of you are already doing this, or at least familiar. The camps, Lego Leagues, so many wonderful options out there. Getting folks interested and seeing that they can do this early just helps it further down the line immensely. Making career paths in STEM visible. Even for me, like, I've been in my career for about 4 years now, and I'm still learning about cool new engineering positions. Like, we have patent engineers. What is a patent engineer? That is the coolest thing ever. They're lawyers, but they're engineers. That's pretty sweet. Didn't know about that until very recently. Encouraging girls to pursue STEM education courses. Erica, I think you might have a better story about this than I do.
So my freshman year, I took this Intro to Engineering and Design class, and I believe there was only 1 hour for it, and there was 3 females in it, and there was about 20 people in the class, I would probably say. And
how did that feel for you?
Just like walking in, it's a very like, oh, like where do I even like sit type of thing, and just like definitely like just having someone in there to be like, oh, I can sit next to her at least is like always a good thing to have, I think.
Fantastic, thank you so much. Other things, emphasizing strong and visible role models. We talked about this a little bit, but seeing someone doing the thing that you want to do helps you feel confident that you can get to that point and do the thing. Prioritizing diverse, inclusive, and respectful environments with strong and diverse leadership. A little bit of a side into corporate Allison for a second. So the leadership at Milwaukee Tool, where I work, is 5 middle-aged white males, right? Which in tech industry is, you know, not uncommon, but, you know, as me sitting here as an engineer with, you know, I want to keep climbing up the corporate ladder, it's hard for me to see myself in a role when there's nobody that looks like me up there, right? And this can go into your teams as well, on making sure that you have a lot of different folks involved in leadership decisions who are in positions of leading your team can help tremendously. And the last note I have on here is promoting a welcoming environment. Everyone is accountable for making your team comfortable and supportive. It happens sometimes where we say something and we don't realize that it could be taken as offensive or, you know, hurtful to someone else, right? Just in all different ways of discussing topics, right? Making sure that everyone is comfortable talking about, hey, I don't like how you said that, or I don't like how that made me feel, helps you as a team become stronger together, and a more diverse team with more voices being heard from all different aspects of life. So, now that we've gotten through all of that, I want to hear from you guys. And I'm going to start off with Miss Elena, who I'm going to put on the spot in just a moment here. Start thinking about how does your team foster a supportive and inclusive team culture? This doesn't need to necessarily be specific to just girls, but I want to hear how you make your team supportive and a good functioning unit. Can I put you on the spot for this one?
So with our team, a big part of what we do is just finding ways to encourage each other and like actually take interest in what people are doing, so you know how to like support them. It's pretty nice.
Fantastic. Okay, I want to hear from you. What ideas do we have? How do you make your team inclusive, supportive? Yes, go for it.
Our team tries to get the freshmen and new people to the team involved as much as possible, and that really gets their brains going, and like that helps them be more helpful on the team, and I think it definitely gives them a better, it blends them into the team better than just them just kind of standing around.
For sure. You in the back.
I don't know if it was like necessarily intended for this specific reason, but I think the way that we organize our team is that we have like different like sub teams, like we have like design, manufacturing, stuff like that. But then within that we have like project groups where it's like a bunch of people from across those things, and we have like project managers for each of those. And I think that is very helpful to have. Cause I know when I first joined the team that I was like, I know nothing. I like that, and I was part of the design team, and the team lead for that. He was like busy doing like a lot of like stuff for the actual like robot and stuff like that, but it was hard trying to like learn those skills and having someone to talk to because he was always busy or something like that. That I think with our current system, with having like a smaller, like having a person that you can go to like for a smaller group of people, that is helpful. And like I'm dedicated to just these people. Like, what do you need? And we have like weekly checkups. Like, what do you need from me? Like, what can I do to help you? Stuff like that. I think that is very helpful.
That's something we've been trying to bring up too, because we've heard of teams doing those kind of systems, and they produce such phenomenal results. So thank you so much for sharing. You, sir.
Building off of that, I know that last year we started to integrate that we blended like a lot of the sub teams like together. So like with the project managers, we had a project manager for each different section of the robot, and then we had some parts of business and some parts of manufacturing and programming all on like the different types so everyone understood everything, but also just to have that connection between the different sub teams so you don't feel like, oh, but they're a different sub team, I don't know anything about what they're doing, why should I care about that? Like they can all understand each other and just get that group togetherness that like everyone just wants.
That's awesome. Thank you so much. This actually made me think of one thing that we do. One of the activities we did on Warrior Bots last year that went surprisingly well was we did like sticky notes of what is one thing that you are proud of that you have done so far this season. This was like in February. And then one thing that you've seen someone else do that is really cool. And so we had this big wall in our room of everyone's personal accomplishments and then like, here's something cool that I saw somebody else on the team do. So just bringing up visibility and showing like different skills and making sure everyone's being seen is so, so valuable. Let's go with you.
So I'm one of the student leads of a functional group on our team, and one of the things I've been trying to include is do it scared. Like, someone will hand me a part to make, and I'm like, I don't know how to do this. Do you know how to do this? And they'll go, I have no clue what that even looks like. And I'm like, cool, I don't either. Let's figure it out.
I'm going to be honest, in industry, people who look like they know everything and are very scary are usually winging it. So, yes, go ahead.
Something that I know we do with our incoming freshmen is we kind of split them up and then we like how we kind of put them into groups and we kind of integrate them that way. But something that we do is we pair them with a lot of our older students, and that way we kind of break down like the intimidation of like talking with our older students or like them not feeling comfortable. So they get a way to, one, get to know them and work with them on a team, and then that builds up trust within the team, and then they also get to know who this is and they kind of form a bond there, and that kind of makes them feel just more comfortable to share their ideas in general.
Mm-hmm. Great. Anybody else? We're gonna sit in awkward silence for a second. Oh, hi, sorry, I'm blind.
Similarly to the like your sticky note thing, at the end of each of our meetings during the build season, and we try to do it out of off season, we do a wrap up and everyone shares something that they've done, and if someone can't think of something, well, everyone's around and able to be like, well, you helped me with this, and you were able to do this with me, or if a group of people are working on a project, it'll be like, I worked with these people, and it kind of shows how everyone is working together in our team, and then also everyone gets filled in. If someone's like working in the shop, we don't know necessarily what's happening if we're in the room. So everything gets, everyone gets informed, and then we can continue to set like a goal for like next meeting.
Question, is it per sub team or per individual?
It's
that like you would like share what you did is like the sub team, each individual shares. Okay.
But if they're like working with a sub team, like if programming is working on an auto or something, we can be like, I worked with this, and a lot of the time in our sub teams, people break off and do different things, and so you can share both what one sub team did or another task that you did to help someone else.
Very cool. One thing I found from another team that we have not implemented, but I've heard that they do it to great success, is it can be very intimidating for anyone on a team, and especially, I'm going to say for girls because I was definitely in this boat, getting used to using power tools especially. They're big, they're scary, they're loud, intimidating, right? Some teams do like girl in shop days where it's just basically either the senior students or mentors just spending a day with the younger girls on the team, just being like, okay, let's take an extra minute to just make sure that you are comfortable using power tools, one, safely, two, correctly, just to help make sure that there is that, good knowledge and it's not being skipped over. I had a little bit more exposure to that when I was younger because my dad had a wood shop in the basement, so I at least knew what a drill was, but I've worked with a lot of younger students who've been like, I've never really used this in my life. I've never really seen this in my life, and taking that extra minute goes a long way in making sure that people feel comfortable on your team and that they want to stay, which is one of the big things. Yeah, go ahead.
Related to that,
yeah.
We all of our team has to do safety checks so that they know how to use power tools correctly. And I know that a lot of the time it's run by one of our female mentors because she is the head. She's a shop teacher, and she's the head of like the theater crew. So working with her, a lot of like they get to have a role model and someone that they can go to, but as like a woman in like a building setting.
Very cool. All right, I think we are just. Oh,
Yeah, I
yeah.
think we're at time.
I've been keeping an eye on the clock.
Driver's meeting's in 15.
Okay, so I am going to wrap up in 30. First and foremost, thank you, all of you, for coming today. I hope you learned something. I hope you have some new ideas. We have been so grateful to host this. Obviously, we are Warrior Bots. We host an event called Twist. It's pretty cool. A lot of your teams are already signed up for it, which is sweet. But if you want more information, we have cards up there, or just drop by our pit. We won't bite, I promise.
I think there's only one team in this room not signed up.
Nicholas, don't be rude. But thank you all so much for coming.
No, that was just a...
This is not an advertisement. I just wanted to talk about this because I'm passionate about it. But yes, make sure you fill out the attendance sheet.
Yeah, we just need one email per team. Just put how many folks from your team attended. So.
Yes, thank you everyone. Thank you so much.